Tonight, we have two general election candidates for Pinellas County Tax Collector. The Pinellas County Tax Collector oversees 270 employees and is responsible for collecting more than $2 billion in taxes and fees. It issues vehicle registration, titles, driver's licenses, concealed weapons permit, and performs other services. This forum is facilitated by the League of Women Voters of St. Petersburg area and the League of Women Voters of North Pinellas County. The League of Women Voters is celebrating 100 years of informing voters and defending democracy. Please visit PinellasVotersGuide.com for complete and unbiased information on voting and candidates. Please remember that October 5th is the last day to register to vote. I know you've heard a lot of chatter about the elections this year. The League of Women Voters assures the audience that your vote matters, whether you vote by mail, vote at an early voting location, or vote on election day. Your vote will be counted. Your vote is your voice. Be sure to return your mail ballot by mid-October, drop it off at one of 25 locations in the county, or vote early at one of 5 early voting locations. On election day, you must vote in person at your designated polling site or drop off your ballot at a supervisor of elections by 7 p.m. If you have any questions about your registration, please call 727-464-VOTE. The League would like me to thank the community co-sponsors for tonight's event: Pinellas County Now, West Pinellas Now, Clearwater Neighborhood Coalition, USF St. Petersburg Campus, USF St. Petersburg Campus Center for Civic Engagement, and ACLU of Florida Pinellas County Chapter. Now let's meet the candidates. Please welcome Charles Thomas and Joseph Saportas. Welcome, gentlemen.
How are you?
Good evening.
Oh, well. I will ask each of you a series of questions, and you will have 1 minute to answer. We'll ask the questions in alternating who goes first. Then you will have 2 minutes each to make a closing statement at the end. The order of candidates' closing statements was determined by drawing straws. Since we are in a virtual format, we are unable to take questions from the audience during the forum. And please note that the views expressed by the candidates do not represent those of the League of Women Voters or the co-sponsors. So let's get started. Candidate Saportas, first question goes to you. Please update us on the message your campaign wants to deliver to the voters.
The primary message we want to deliver to the voters is that I will be on the job all the time. They expect to have a manager there who can, 1, run the operation, and then 2, be 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. We're going to be implementing many new things to improve the time you're there. It has doubled since Mr. Thomas took over the operation. In other words, it seems like he's not as good as the previous tax collector by 100%. That's going to change. And I think the people will not have to wait too long to come in and get processed. They won't have appointments a month off. We will have walk-ins as well as appointments. These are the type of things we intend to achieve.
Candidate Thomas?
I was asked to join the tax collector's office 20 years ago to help transform the organization into a high-performing customer service organization. And I've done that. And along the way, won not 1, not 2, but 3 Governor Sterling Awards. Third one in 2020, and that's unprecedented in the world of tax collectors in the state of Florida. Our service met 98.6% customer satisfaction rating for 2019, and we look forward to continuing to offer excellent customer service to our customers. We've created a very safe environment for both our customers and our employees so that we may serve safely and keep those that we serve safe. I look forward to continuing to serve as your tax collector.
Kennedy Thomas, staying with you for question 2. What are your qualifications for the job?
I served as the Chief Deputy Tax Collector for 16 years before becoming tax collector in January 2017. And I've served as tax collector for more than 3.5 years now. So I have 20 years experience. I'm a certified Florida collector. I have a degree in resource management. I'm also a certified public manager. And again, I have led the organization to 3 Governor Sterling wins, have completely transformed the operation over those years, over the 20 years, to one that consistently delivers excellent customer service. I think my track record is without question. I have the experience, the knowledge, and the time in the office, and I'm the most qualified candidate on the ballot this year.
Candidate Saportas?
Though I am a newcomer into the tax collector's office, it appears that Mr. Thomas, having been on the Sterling Award Committee here in Florida, may have assisted his winning this award. I have copies of the 2020 Sterling Award, which documents low employee morale, the longer you have to wait to get your tag processed, get your driver's license issued. In other words, it's not complimentary. The 98.6%, which means out of every 100 comment cards, you're going to see almost 99 of those. I'd like to see those. Now, getting on my specific qualifications, I have a master's in management, public administrations. I've worked in both federal, state, and local government, as well as 20 years running my own high technology operation. Mr. Thomas has not upgraded the operation to today's standards.
Candidate Saportas, what do you see as the top 3 issues in the race?
Well, first of all, was getting in there and being there to manage the operation. It appears that the current tax collector is never around. He seems to have sublet it to somebody lower than him. Secondly, I think making sure that all the information in the organization is secure, making sure the alarm systems are always working, making sure the doors are locked, which has been an issue with Mr. Thomas, as well as the fact that we need to have more and more people internally held. The turnover there is horrible. And I've had numerous people on leaving telling me that they're glad they're leaving and they hope I win. So yes, I'll change the operation back to the level of what both Mr. Petty and Diane Nelson had it to prior to handing it over to Charles Thomas.
Candidate Thomas, same question.
4 years ago when I ran on continuing to offer and deliver excellent customer service. Again, we delivered 98.6% customer satisfaction rating of excellent or good in 2019. And that was based for the walk-in customers on nearly 112,000 comment cards. Not anecdotal data, not a few calls here or there, but real hard data. I said I would do that by recruiting, training, retaining, and inspiring folks to be excellent customer service deliverers and good public servants. In 2019, we had an employee satisfaction rate of 90%. In 2020, employee satisfaction rate of 95%. And it looks like I'm about out of time, but technology is important.
Candidate Thomas, how would you increase accessibility to the community, especially underserved areas?
Well, in choosing the location for the new South County location or office, one of the things that I had made as an expectation was having that office be on public transit, available for public transit in case there were people that needed to come to the office that did not have their own vehicle or simply needed an identification card and not necessarily drivers. This past several months, we've added kiosks in 3 Publix locations, 2 more yet to come, where registrations renewals can be done on a touchscreen device, use a credit card, and have a printed registration renewal in your hands within 2 minutes. Our North County location is also on US 19. So both end of the counties, it is an operation that's easily accessible to all types of our customers.
Candidate Saportas, same question.
Well, accessibility is very important. I know Mr. Thomas is talking about a South County location. It's actually 25 blocks north of Central Avenue. The prior location was south of Central Avenue, also on a transit line. So I would say he misplaced the location of that particular South County. In addition to that, I had looked to have some mobile units going out, not only to disadvantaged people that cannot get transportation easily, people that are shut in, because we can issue the documentation in a full duplex type situation where you can receive and transmit data, issue government IDs, driver's licenses, and improve the access that people need to get their IDs, to get their drugs, to get their drivers and insurance and going. But yeah, I will improve the access.
Candidate Saportas, staying with you for question 5. Do you support providing mobile or virtual services, and how do you see the best way to provide such services?
Starting on the mobile side, probably start out with a grant from the government to start a mobile bus that's fully loaded with the information or the equipment to be able to both take the information, transmit it, and issue. And this would be done on a pilot basis the first year, expanded to multiple vehicles. These can also be used during hurricane situations or when we're having issues. Now, protecting the people from COVID-19, first of all, I'd install oxygen monitors that, you go into a doctor's office, they put a little thing on your finger to get your oxygen reading. Secondly, thermal sensors would help. In other words, enforce both social distancing, masks, and everything we can do to keep our employees and our customers safe from COVID-19. It's going to be with us for at least another year.
Candidate Thomas, same question.
Mobile technology, the state has what they call flowmobiles. They are mobile units. They are rarely, if ever, used. They're highly inefficient. They're subject to breakdowns. And frankly, I've been around and seen them in operation for 20 years, but not often because they're just not an effective way to serve the public. I think that virtual delivery of services is something that should occur, but the tax collector office interfaces with a number of state and federal systems and databases, and until at all of those levels, data security and authentication at a high level to access those systems needs to be in place. We already have masks in place, sanitizing stations. We have barriers between our customers and our employees and run a very safe COVID-based operation.
Candidate Thomas, what do you think about personal branding of the tax collector office, having the collector's name on everything?
I think it's important to know who is accountable for delivering service and who it is responsible for handling your money and being assured that you're accounted for. We collected nearly $2.3 billion in 2019, and we were able to account for nearly every dollar, rounding errors in the hundreds of a percent. I think at local government, it's important that people know exactly who is accountable for the service that's being delivered. That way, if they're not happy with that service, they can make a change. So I think that the name branding is extremely important. You want to know who it is that is responsible for the service you're delivering. And that's why you see my name along with the Office of Tax Collector on all the buildings.
Candidate Saportas, same question.
Well, that's nice to know that you can put your name up there for personal accountability, but it also means you need to be around the office more often than he is. As far as I'm concerned, you can either use name branding or you can say tax collector on your check or Pinellas County. They all get to the tax collector. They do get deposited and your taxes get paid. If you want personal accountability, definitely have yourself at the office 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Even in multiple offices, you can be reached. If people need to reach you, all they have to do is come into the information as you walk in and ask for the tax collector. And wherever I'm at, I'll be there. It's more than I can say for the other gentleman.
Candidate Saportas, how can you help voters in a way that your opponent cannot?
Well, the tax collector's job normally is not that of assisting the voters. However, if they come in, of course, asking for information about voting, or if they're talking about voting for this election in which I'm running, currently I'm endorsed by the National Organization of Women here in Pinellas County. They've looked at me, they've looked at my responses. I'm also endorsed by other organizations. I do intend to include more diversity in the operation, work to improve promotions of employees within, and keep turnover down to a minimum. I don't think that's the case today. I do have a copy of the Sterling Report 2020 on Mr. Thomas and the tax collector's office, and it refutes most of the things he's talking about. The interesting thing is he's still on the Sterling committee. So, Mr. Thomas, you need to respond how it is you function on that committee and you award yourself this.
Candidate Saportas, if you'd like to answer that question differently, because I was confusing in the way that I asked it, I'd like to give you another chance to do that. How can you help your constituents in a way that your opponent cannot?
Well, again, first and foremost, you need to be present on the job, which has not happened. I hate to repeat it again, but it's common knowledge that Mr. Thomas is never around. He's sublet it to other people to manage, and nobody knows where Mr. Thomas is. I think being there and being available for calls and inquiries is part of the job of a tax collector. I think voters would appreciate knowing that they can contact somebody who is available, and I'm always available. And this is how I would do so. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying, Candidate Thomas. So the question is, how can you help your constituents in a way your opponent cannot?
By continuing to do the job that I've been doing now for nearly 20 years. And I can tell you that one is not able to achieve winning Governor Sterling Awards by being disengaged from the organization or from the process. It is important to be involved, to know both your people and your customers. And if you do take a look at our Governor Sterling feedback report, you will find opportunities for improvement. That's exactly what we're looking for. And the award was not presented by me, but rather by a team of objective analysts who know how to ask the right questions and dig in and find out exactly how you do what you do and look at the data that supports that. The data supports that the way that I have run this organization delivers excellent results. I would continue to do that.
Candidate Thomas, who and or which organizations have provided the largest financial and or in-kind donations to your campaign? Please be specific.
A number of organizations and individuals. There are, honestly, there are some vendors that have added support to the campaign, but there are also a great number of individuals, folks that believe in the work I do and in the service delivery model that I've set up. Does that answer your question?
Sure. It's up to you to answer it as you see fit. Candidate Saportas,
Very good.
same question. Who and or
Sure.
which organizations have provided
I'd
largest
like to add to
financial and or
Mr. Thomas. All of the vendors that have contracts with them have donated money, usually to the max, whether it's times one or two people in the organization. It's a conflict of interest. On myself, my donations have ranged anywhere from $25 to maybe 200. I've gotten maybe 3 or 4 for 1,000, usually from close friends and families. Nothing more than that. Now, the Democratic Party did donate $1,000 to me, a total of 1,500 during the entire period. But I haven't gotten the multiple $1,000 donations that Mr. Thomas has. He seems to have acquired $50,000 or $60,000. Now I'm still in the under $20,000 rate. I'm sure more will be coming in as we get closer to November 3rd, but that's it. Mine are general people that don't have a lot of money, but they want to see change. Oh, in fact, many of the ex-tax collector employees have donated.
Candidate Saportas, how would you decrease the wait times for services that the community is experiencing at this time?
Well, first of all, we need to develop a better type of express lane, because I had to go to Pasco County to get my driver's license changed, because it would take an hour or hour and a half of waiting at the tax collector's office here in Pinellas County. I was in and out of Pasco in 20 minutes. That's called express. In other words, when you go in, you're asked where you're going and you're diverted. This doesn't happen in the tax collector's office here. You basically wait till your number is called. In other words, that's a way to expedite it. In addition, you're going to end up having to move people that are better qualified to handle certain groups of people in need, as far as registrations, ad valorem tax. In other words, segregate much more than he's doing so now. Spin off the DMV side to a group, people that can whip them in and out quickly, because they all specialize in that. But he doesn't do that at this point.
Thank you. Candidate Thomas, same question.
Wait times have fluctuated the entire time I've been there. And while they have increased over the last couple of years, as we've experienced a spike in driver's license renewals, they've never gone beyond about 15, 16 minutes. And they've never been an issue with our customers. What our customers want is to be treated with courtesy and respect, have someone that can handle the transaction that they're processing with the knowledge and skills necessary, and to get it right the first time. The reason we achieved a 98.6% customer satisfaction rating, because that was not an issue. What we are doing to try and improve times, because we know that time is important, is adding those kiosks. Prior to COVID, we were doing about 50% of registration renewals online or by the mail. Since COVID, by promoting other options, including the kiosk, we're doing 90 to 92% in that manner, and that will free up resources to process other things more quickly.
Candidate Thomas, what would you hope to be remembered
Yes.
for accomplishing after serving in office?
That I had served my community well, that I'd given it my very best, that I made or helped make an organization better than it was. And I have, in fact, achieved that. The things that I'm working on now and hope to leave as a legacy is, again, to grow that workforce, to develop that workforce that is truly devoted to be public servants that want to deliver excellent customer service. They do that today. The next steps for me over the next several years would be to develop and make certain that we have a deep bench in terms of leadership and an ability to continue leading that organization in the way it is today, with a goal towards being better tomorrow than it is today. That's been my goal. That's what I hope to be remembered for.
Candidate Saportas, same question.
Well, I hope to leave the operation in better shape than it is today. In discussions with other people that have worked there, They would like to see a lot of changes, which I'm going to implement. Of course, I don't know if you realize that both two previous tax collectors, Red Petty, Diane Nelson, have publicly come out prior to the primary of saying they will not support nor vote for Mr. Thomas. And why is that? Well, the wait times, as you said, well, they're only 15 or 16 minutes now. That's 100% worse than when both Petty and Diane Nelson had it. And they were very accurate in how they handled it and very expeditious. There's no reason for this other than the fact he's got about 30 vacancies right now in the organization. So you're short manpower. Needs to clean his act up, and I can do that.
Candidate Saportas, staying with you for question 11. How would you upgrade the inner workings of the office to make it more efficient and transparent?
I've reviewed some of the budget. I think he's overpaying for his telecommunications costs. He's offloaded a lot of the work to outside agencies, and he's using vacancies to justify cost savings and money's returned to the state. But improving it again, it's restructuring how the workflow goes, because you've got major bottlenecks the way it is now, because half the people don't even know who they're reporting to anymore because of the changes of Mr. Thomas and his managers. So I think I would develop and improve the consistency of the structure. We'd listen to the employees, and we make sure that we listen to a lot of the things they need. That is not happening now. So more than that, I would rather get into further along in the election process.
Candidate Thomas, same question.
I would continue along the path that I've been on. The Governor Sterling model promotes an organizational management system with a focus on leadership, strategic planning, customer focus, employee focus, knowledge management, continual process improvement, and everything wrapped in metrics. It is an incredibly transparent process and system to use. It gives us an opportunity to, at all levels of the organization, find opportunities for improvement. And in fact, I've made certain that we have folks in every level of the organization trained in Six Sigma techniques. That gives us the ability to not only find where we can improve, but use known and proven tools to find root causes of inefficiencies where they lie, and then develop true solutions to those issues.
Candidate Thomas, staying with you. What technology service upgrades would you like to see made to the county tax office?
I'd like to see us be able to do more work virtually. And I've talked with folks up in Tallahassee about that. I think that that COVID may be with us for a while, and maybe we have other things that are come our way that may affect us in the same way. So I think being able to do work virtually, more telecommuting would be advantageous and allow us to create separation and safety as needed. Again, that needs a lot of work yet in making certain that systems are secure, that there are safe ways to access systems and maintain data security in order to do that. We've already begun working, we've developed a telecommuting policy, dual level authentication for access to computer systems, and are willing to pilot virtual reality service delivery models.
Thank you. Candidate Saportas, same question.
Well, I think automation would be excellent. Mr. Thomas has talked about it for the last few years and has not done it. In fact, I think he lost 2 IT managers in the last 6 months because they were fed up with how poorly the operation is run. And they have, I hate to say, escaped to another tax collector's office in another county and are doing much better. So what Mr. Thomas says sounds great, but he's not doing any of it. I intend to make things transparent, make sure that the equipment is upgraded, and we also reduce costs both in telecommunications and bring more stuff in-house. They don't have what they used to have under Diane, which made it much more efficient. He's offloaded operations elsewhere so that he can trim back employees. And again, with 30 vacancies right now, how many more does he want to lose out of the 270 he's got or supposedly should have? That's what I wanted to say.
Candidate supports the tax collector's office currently requires customers wear masks. If the mask ban is lifted, how will you accommodate vulnerable customers who do not feel safe being in a building where masks are not required?
Well, you've got an open-ended question there because we're foreseeing COVID to be around probably till next June. So if it is lifted at that point, a lot of people would feel better if they're getting vaccinated and the vaccines work. Until that time, I would rather have masks stay in place and keep social distancing until people are comfortable enough to go out and meet with people and not worry about catching the virus. We're going to have to deal with this probably annually like we do with the flu. And we're doing much better than we were before. But again, vaccines are the way to do it. And once you get the population inoculated, you'll have a lot less issues. People can be closer without masks. But until then, no, everything stays in place.
Candidate Thomas, same question.
When this COVID pandemic first came about, we actually closed the offices for 2 months. We put in tempered glass barriers between customers and our customer service delivery folks so that we could maintain some safe distancing. We also rearranged workspaces and lobbies to ensure that social distancing. Masks right now are mandatory. If they become non-mandatory, we would still highly recommend that they be used. And frankly, one of the reasons I put in the appointment-only system in place is to control the access and limit the number of people in the building at one time to ensure social distancing and safety, not only for my employees, but for my customers. If we have an outbreak in the office and have to close because employees are sick, we won't be able to serve anyone.
Thank you, candidates. We have finished the Q&A portion of our program with great efficiency. We're actually a few minutes ahead of schedule, and we can move on to closing statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. The order of closing statements was determined by drawing straws, and candidate Thomas, you go first.
I have served as your tax collector for more than 3 years now, over 3.5 years, and as chief deputy tax collector for 16 years prior to that. Along the way, I've brought that organization to a total of 3 Governor Sterling Award wins. That's completely unprecedented in the state of Florida. No tax collector has done that. I am uniquely qualified to continue to serve as your track record. My track record of proven success is verified. Service to my country and community has been important to me since my time in the United States Air Force. It's a passion of mine to this day. I look forward to continuing to serve you and our community. It's where my heart is. It's what I want to do. And I ask for your support to continue to do that. That's all.
Candidate Saportas, your closing statement?
Yeah, as a first-generation American and having worked my way through college with multiple jobs to land up with a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, 1 year at law school, and I decided I couldn't afford to go to law school anymore. I bring a lot of qualifications to this, both from job experience as well as people experience. Mr. Thomas refers to his Sterling Award, unprecedented. Well, it costs $30,000 a year for him to pay the Sterling organization to send the people down to look at it. It's bought. Secondly, in reviewing it itself, I can look on page 6 of the review. Mr. Thomas's actions in regards to morale, people turning over, efficiency. I mean, he's twice as bad as Diane Nelson, because he's 100% worse. So we're trying to see if we can improve the situation. I'm a son of a military veteran. I also served during Vietnam, actually manufacturing for the war. It was one of the jobs that they needed to have engineers doing to make it work better, make sure everything didn't blow up. I did that, did it well. So I'm bringing a wide range of material experience so that we can kind of get the tax collector's office back up to the quality and the level and the prestige of the operation prior to Mr. Thomas taking over. Regardless of how many years he was there counting taxes or managing taxes, he still doesn't manage people. He doesn't know how to manage an operation. I bring that to the table. I'll bring change, I'll bring efficiency and automation. So I think if you look at voting for me, you'll find out that this will happen. I'll have a lot of support from many of the tax collector former employees. They've already been helping. They are donating, and we'll see how it goes this election.
Thank you, candidates, both, for your time this evening. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.